Hey everybody, this is Don Sardella here. Just want to let you know that we got launching a new podcast series using AI to bring you the best of the content that we've discovered and work with great people like yourselves over the years. I think you'll find this interesting over the next 13 to 15 minutes. You'll find ways also you can reach out to us. We'd love to have a chance to talk to you for 15 to 30 minutes, find out what you're up to, what you might be up against, what might be some possibilities in terms of how you create a breakthrough for yourself, the people you care about most, and the enterprises you're pursuing. So let's jump in, listen to this, and we'll circle back to you before the end of the call with how you can reach us at my website, donsardella.com, or on LinkedIn, or just via email, don@donsardella.com, or by phone, 480-580-7863. Let's go.
You know, it's kind of crazy how much everyone's talking about AI these days. It seems like it's everywhere you turn. But for this deep dive, we're going to kind of shift gears a little bit, and we're going to look at how to tap into your own creative power, especially when things feel chaotic.
That's really interesting to me because I think it kind of speaks to the way that we as humans react in times of huge upheaval.
Yeah.
You look back through history, major shifts have often led to these bursts of incredible creativity and innovation.
Exactly. And to help us kind of navigate these waters and maybe even spark a little bit of our own creative genius, we're diving into the work of Don Sardella. Now, this guy is a veteran business coach who's worked with everyone from these massive companies to independent advisors. And what's really cool, he's not just focused on boosting their performance, but he's also really focused on helping them find more satisfaction in their lives.
Yeah, and his background is so interesting. He started out as a design engineer, which gives him this very systematic way of approaching things. But then you layer on his passion for coaching, and you get this really unique blend of pragmatism and heart.
Right. And we're going to be digging into his newsletters, his books, and some of his speaking topics to see what we can learn about his approach to personal and professional growth. And it all ties in quite nicely with the theme of his March 2025 newsletter.
Yes, he starts off with this quote from Bob Dylan that really sets the tone. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself and creating things.
I love that quote, and it just feels so relevant right now, especially with everything going on in the world. There's a lot of uncertainty, which honestly feels a bit like an echo of what we went through during the pandemic 5 years ago.
Yeah, it does feel kind of cyclical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in his newsletter, Don asks these really thought-provoking questions that push us to think about how we react to these moments of uncertainty. He asks things like, what are you willing to go for? What are you truly committed to? And even, how great are you willing to let life be?
Those are some pretty powerful questions. It's like he's challenging us to step up and make a conscious choice about how we want to show up in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he does it with this really playful approach, too. Like he suggests things like TGI Monday and Breakfast at Epiphanies, which I gotta admit made me smile.
Me too. It's like he's reminding us to lighten up and embrace the possibilities that each day holds. And that whole Noah's Ark analogy that he uses is brilliant.
Oh, yeah. The idea of staying buoyant even when the storms of life are raging around you. I thought that was such a great way to frame the need for adaptability and resilience. But it's not just about weathering the storm alone.
No, he also talks a lot about the power of connection, right?
Yeah.
He's a big believer in high trust relationships and collaborative creation. You know, two heads are better than one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is where you really see his engineering background coming through. He breaks down the concept of collaboration, explaining why having a win-win mindset and being willing to give and take in relationships is so essential. It's almost like he's designing the optimal environment for creative synergy.
Yeah, it really is. And speaking of design, he also encourages us to cultivate what he calls a beginner's mind.
Ah, yes. This is a concept that's borrowed from Zen Buddhism. It's the idea of approaching things with fresh eyes, like a painter facing a blank canvas, without the baggage of preconceived notions or limiting beliefs.
I like that image. So instead of letting past experiences kind of dictate how we see a situation, we try to approach it with open curiosity and a willingness to learn something new.
Exactly. He even recommends listening to the song Let Her Go to help us get into that mindset of releasing old patterns that no longer serve us.
Which is interesting because it ties into his acronym QTIP, which stands for Quit Taking It Personally.
Oh, that's one of my favorites. He sees getting triggered by things as a major drain on our creative energy. And you know what? He literally suggests carrying Q-tips around as a lighthearted reminder to QTIP when needed.
That's so done. It's practical, it's playful, and it actually makes you think twice before getting sucked into negativity.
He really does a great job of blending those elements. But beyond those mindset shifts, Don also has a very structured approach to coaching, which stems from his engineering background. He's developed what he calls his 8 key strategies for business success.
Okay, so let's unpack those strategies a little bit because I think this is where things start to get really interesting, especially for anyone who's trying to build a business or just generally level up in their career.
Yeah, these strategies are really fascinating because they go beyond just, the typical business advice you hear all the time. They address really practical things like time management, finances, and team building, but then they also touch on these more holistic aspects,
Yeah.
like client experience and work-life balance. It's a really well-rounded approach.
Yeah, and it all seems to come back to his philosophy of really understanding and serving your client's best interest. It's that win-win scenario that he keeps emphasizing.
Exactly.
Mm.
But it's not just about catering to your clients.
Mhm.
He also talks about tapping into your own talent and ingenuity. It's about unlocking your potential on a personal level as well.
So it's about creating a life that feels fulfilling, not just successful on paper.
Precisely. And this is where Don's personal philosophy really shines through. If you look at his, words to live by, they really revolve around purpose, passion, and constantly growing. He truly believes in finding work you love, serving a need, and always striving for excellence.
Yeah, you can tell that he genuinely lives by these principles. It's not just something he preaches. I mean, he has this great quote. He says, "Create the best opportunities for the greatest possible joy, both for yourself and many others."
It's so inspiring. He's not just helping people create successful businesses. He's helping them build lives that are, rich with meaning and joy. And he walks the talk too. His passions for music, travel, and spending time with his family really demonstrate his belief in living a well-rounded life.
Yeah, it's like he's proving that you can live the dream while still being grounded and connected to what truly matters.
Oh,
Now, before we jump into his books, I want to circle back to those 8 key strategies. Could you walk us through a couple that you think would be particularly relevant for our listeners?
absolutely. Let's start with strategy number 2. Prioritize and execute. This one is crucial because it addresses a common trap that so many entrepreneurs fall into, getting bogged down in busy work and losing sight of the big picture. Don really emphasizes the importance of identifying the tasks that truly move the needle and then ruthlessly prioritizing them. He even suggests using a time tracking system to get a really clear understanding of where your time is actually going.
That's so smart because it's so easy to think you're working on the important things, but actually tracking your time can reveal some really surprising insights.
Exactly. And it can help you become much more intentional with your time and energy. Now, another strategy that I think is particularly relevant is strategy number 5. Create delighted clients. Don believes that going above and beyond to exceed client expectations is key to building those lasting relationships and, creating a thriving business.
So this goes beyond just good customer service, right? It's about building genuine connections and showing that you genuinely care about your client's success.
Right. He even talks about the importance of understanding your clients' unspoken needs, those things that they might not even be aware of themselves. And this really ties back to his emphasis on deeply understanding your clients, not just superficially.
It's almost like becoming a client whisperer.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
And this attention to detail can really set you apart in a really crowded marketplace. Plus, when you genuinely care about your clients, it creates a more fulfilling experience for you as well.
There's that win-win again. Now, I know Don has poured all of this wisdom into 3 books. What can you tell us about those?
His first book, Monetizing the Time of Your Life, is a very practical guide for aspiring entrepreneurs, especially those who are looking to build a sustainable business that's aligned with their dreams. It's packed with actionable advice on everything from identifying your ideal client to creating a solid marketing plan.
So it sounds like a great resource for anyone who's just starting out or feeling a little bit lost in their entrepreneurial journey.
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, it's Don Sardella. I just want to check in with you. We're about halfway through this podcast. One of the things I want to encourage you to do, if you think it, ink it. You may get some good ideas. Jot them down, and you can look how to follow up on those later, especially as we kind of continue with the rest of the broadcast. You may have some things you want to talk about at the end of this, and again, we can quickly jump on a Zoom call or a phone call for 15 to 30 minutes and see how we can make a difference for you. So let's get back to the podcast, and we'll see you at the end of the show.
Now, I know Don doesn't just write about these concepts. He's also a very sought-after speaker and workshop facilitator. What are some of the topics that he covers?
Oh, he covers a wide range of topics, actually. Everything from team building and communication skills to problem solving, and leadership development.
It seems like he's really passionate about helping people unlock their potential in all areas of life.
Absolutely. And what's so interesting is that he's constantly refining his own skills and learning new approaches. He's not someone who just rests on his laurels. He's a perpetual student, always seeking new ways to help people grow and achieve their goals.
That's so inspiring. It's like he embodies the very principles that he teaches. Now, you mentioned that Don has a really playful approach to some of these concepts. Are there any other examples of that in his work?
Oh, definitely. In one of his newsletters, he actually poses a question to Google asking, how do I effectively optimize my power to create in extremely chaotic circumstances and in rapidly changing dynamic environments?
Wait, he asked Google. That's hilarious.
I know, right? But the response he gets back is actually incredibly insightful. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining a clear vision, staying flexible and adaptable, focusing on what you can control, building a strong support system, practicing mindfulness and resilience, and prioritizing and executing.
It sounds like a pretty solid recipe for navigating uncertainty, and it aligns perfectly with everything we've learned about Don and his approach so far.
It really does. It's about embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, trusting in our ability to adapt and evolve, and taking consistent action toward the life we envision. It's a reminder that while chaos and change are inevitable, we have the power to choose how we respond and to harness our creativity to thrive amidst the storm.
I like that. It's very empowering. And it seems like Don's whole approach to personal and professional growth is about empowering people to take control of their lives and to create the reality that they desire.
Exactly. He doesn't just give you the tools, He instills a belief in your own power to create.
Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground here, but I think there's one more piece of the puzzle we need to address. Don mentions a couple of book recommendations in his newsletter that seem to tie in nicely with his philosophy.
Oh, yes, those are great picks. One is called When Life Hits Hard: How to Transcend Grief, Crisis, and Loss with Acceptance and Commitment Therapy.
Okay, I've heard good things about that one. It seems to resonate with his theme of resilience and navigating challenging times.
It does. It's about equipping ourselves with the tools and the mindset to not just survive difficult experiences, but to actually grow and thrive through them. It's about finding that inner strength and using it to come out stronger on the other side.
So it's not just about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward.
Exactly. And the other book he mentions is Disrupt Everything. Every leader, team member, and family needs to disrupt, grow, change, triumph. This one speaks to the importance of embracing change and using it as a catalyst for growth and innovation.
It sounds like a call to action for anyone who feels stuck in a rut or is afraid to step outside their comfort zone.
It is. It's about challenging the status quo and finding, new and better ways of doing things. It's about embracing a mindset of continuous improvement and evolution.
Yeah. It's like Don is saying, hey, the world is changing rapidly, so let's not just react to those changes. Let's be proactive. Let's disrupt. Let's create the future that we want to see.
That's a brilliant way to put it. And it really encapsulates the spirit of this entire deep dive. It's about recognizing that we have the power to choose to create, to shape our own destinies, even amidst the whirlwind of change. It's about stepping into our creative power and using it to build a life, a business, a world that reflects our values and our aspirations.
And that's a journey worth embarking on, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And remember, Don is there to offer guidance and support along the way. He encourages his readers to reach out, schedule a call, brainstorm ideas, and get the ball rolling.
He's a true champion for anyone who's ready to step into their power and create a life they love. So what will you create today?
That's the question we'll leave you with. The power to create is in your hands. Go forth and make something amazing.
It's so easy to get caught up in that feeling that, you're just one person against this huge, ever-changing world. But listening to Don, I really get this sense that he wants to remind us that we're not alone in this journey.
Yeah, I get that same feeling. It's like he's offering a hand to anyone who's feeling overwhelmed or uncertain. He's saying like, hey, I've been there, I get it, but you have the strength and the creativity to figure this out, and I'm here to help.
Yeah, and it all comes back to that, that central message that really permeates all of his work. You have the power to create the life you desire.
Right. It's such a powerful reminder because it's so easy to fall into that passive mindset.
Yeah.
To feel like things are just kind of happening to us. But Don is really urging us to remember that we are the architects of our own lives. We are the artists, the authors of our own stories.
We have the power to make choices, to commit to our goals, to take action, and through those actions, we create a reality that aligns with our values and our dreams.
Right. It's a message that bears repeating. You have the power to create, Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait for someone else to give you the green light. Start today.
Well, thanks for joining us today. I hope you found that valuable. We're excited. Part of it is the opportunity to get to know you better, what's important to you, what's going to make your year a banner year, what's going to have you go to places you haven't yet been. We hope that you can take some good takeaways, even 1 or 2 good ideas that can fuel your energy, your inspiration, your motivation, your profitability, your productivity, your performance, just a sense of morale, and just chomping at the bit to get out of bed in the morning and just roll up your sleeves and go after it. Give us a call, 480-580-7863, or email me at don@donsardella.com, or you can, there's a sign-in for a 15 to 30-minute consult on our website, which is donsardella.com. Let's talk about how we can collaborate and go to new levels together that we couldn't possibly do on our own. I'll see you around campus. This is Don Sardella signing off for today.